Thank you for watching Scary Animal Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we release new episodes. Welcome back to Scary Animal Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the unincorporated Maine Township near Chicago, Illinois. Specifically, we're going to the retention pond of the Bay Colony Condominium Complex in the township. In this fairly typical urban landscape, you'll find a swimming pool, tennis courts, a playground, a basketball court, and a large landscaped retention pond. Centered in the middle of the development, this pond is rimmed with a walking path, as well as landscaping. It has been the home to migratory fowl, who the property management company have set to keep away. At 7 a.m. on April 17, 2012, 37-year-old Anothony Hensley was getting ready to place his kayak in the pond so he could check on the Mute Swans that have been assigned to guard the premises. He works for a North Barrington company called Knox Swan and Dog. He had been married to his wife for 4 years and was excited about his job and enjoyed what he did. The company places Mute Swans in waterfront locations to chase away ducks and geese. The birds are around 30 pounds in weight and reportedly extremely territorial, especially in spring, when they nest and lay eggs. Mute swans are known to mate for life and have become a symbol of love because of this. They were imported from Europe to the United States in the 19th century, and now there are wild populations along the colder regions of each coast. They are frequently seen dabbling their bills along the top of the water, or even upending themselves to use their long necks to access aquatic plants. They've been known to eat up to 8 pounds of aquatic plants per day. Anothony was bundled up in cold weather gear and wore his heavy work boots that day so that he could stay warm as he performed his daily duties. He didn't bother wearing a life vest as he was in the middle of town in a pond, not in the ocean. He carefully boarded his kayak and began paddling away from shore. He could see the water fountain that continually circulated the water, oxygenating it and filtering it at the same time. The pond was very deep, about 50 feet, and required him to do regular maintenance to ensure the swans are able to do their job and keep the pond free from other waterfowl. As he paddled out to the middle of the pond, he could see the swans a short distance away. They were exhibiting their typical mating ritual behavior and had nested up on the bank of the retention pond. He had to check on their well-being as part of his job and feed them, so a close inspection would be required. Typically, he would note any injuries to any of the birds and carefully attend to their health. The swans not only keep other migratory birds away from the area, but are also a very beautiful addition to the grounds, so they must be healthy and beautiful. As Anothony approached the breeding pair, he began his visual inspection of the swans. They were not shy and began to swim toward him. They seemed to be in a bad mood and more aggressive than normal. As the largest of the pair approached, it spread its wings to their full span of 8 feet wide. Anothony was balancing in his kayak and was trying to paddle around the approaching swans, but they got to him more quickly than he could get away. He could see the swollen black knob of the male swan's bill as he approached the kayak. Before Anothony could turn his kayak and paddle from the area toward safety, the large male stretched his neck out and began to bite him. It pulled itself closer and began to strike him repeatedly with its wings, making his kayak rock and jeopardizing his balance. As the swan intensified its attack on him, Anothony was toppled from his kayak, plunging into the chilling 38-degree waters. Anothony was a good swimmer, but was burdened by the heavy boots and clothes he wore, now weighed down even more given they were soaking wet. As Anothony bobbed back up to the surface, the swans would strike him repeatedly in the face with their wings and beaks. He struggled to swim toward the shore while under attack, and each time he tried to take a breath, he was struck with one of the swan's wings. He only had a little over 40 yards to swim, which would normally be very easy for him, but the chill of the water, the weight of his wet clothes, and the persistent attack of the swans made it difficult. Anothony continued in his struggle toward the shore, but continually inhaled water while he was trying to get gulps of air into his lungs. His wet clothes added resistance while he swam and burden to his efforts to stay afloat. But the most devastating aspects to the situation were the unrelenting strikes and bites from the attacking swans. Observers watched him struggle closer to the shore as the swans beat and bit him. He was near the shore when he went under for the last time. The swan swam around him, waiting for him to re-emerge, but observers never saw him resurface. As people looked on, Anothony's kayak floated upside down with its tip poking from the water. The police were called and requested to help, but by the time they arrived, his body had not been seen for some time. Dive crews were ordered to the pond and searched much of the pond before finding his unconscious body. He was pulled from the icy waters at 7:50 a.m. and taken to Advocate Lutheran General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. He left behind his wife and 2 daughters. His daughters were not told of his death, but that he would not be coming home, as they were thought to be too young. Anthony died without life insurance, so his family was left without his presence and his income. During an investigation into his death, experts believed he suffered from hypothermia while in the frigid water. This caused limited function of his extremities, which caused him to drown. Anthony is remembered for his good sense of humor and his devotion to his family. His father indicated that Anthony would be remembered as one of the most wonderful fathers in the world. He reportedly didn't have a mean bone in his body. Anthony's widow filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the property management and the homeowners association for knowingly having a territorial and aggressive animal on the premises. Her lawsuit was for the amount of $50,000. Her lawsuit did not name Anthony's employer in the suit. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration also investigated the incident and determined there were no violations on the part of his employer. If you are inclined, the family accepts donations for their costs, and the address will be pinned with the source articles in the comments. This is the only known documented human death due to Swan Attack our research could uncover. Thank you for watching Scary Animal Attacks. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like button and clicking on the bell icon to keep you notified of our latest video releases. Sharing our video links on your social media might help save a life and spread the fun. As a member of our human network, be careful out there, because you don't want to end up on an episode of Scary Animal Attacks.